Bienvenidos.
Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos.
Welcome to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast.
Here's your host,
Certified Language Coach,
Tamara Marie.
I am so excited to bring you this episode today because we are doing a new song breakdown, and we're going to be looking at one of the more interesting songs on the album Better Late Than Never by Romeo Santos and Prince Royce. We're going to be reviewing the lyrics to the song Estocolmo. So it's kind of a crazy song. I'm going to, as always, include the full song with the lyrics and a video so you can see the official video for the song, because it is really, it's kind of funny. It really plays out what's going on in the song lyrics. But as always, you can get that at learnspanishconsalsa.com/241 for episode 241 of the podcast. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the lyrics to Estocolmo. So just for starting out, the name of this song, Estocolmo, it actually is very similar to what it is in English, right? It sounds very similar. So it actually stands for Stockholm. Stockholm. And you might be familiar with Stockholm as a city, but this is really referring to Stockholm Syndrome, which is something that happens when, someone has been taken hostage or they're trapped by someone, and they develop a sort of a bond with their captor to the point that they really don't want to leave. Sort of a psychological condition, right? So obviously the song is that literally Stockholm Syndrome. It's more of a dramatic interpretation, I would say, of that because it's in the context of relationships, which so often these songs are about. This is a Bachata song, one of the newer songs from Prince Royce and Romeo Santos. So let's get into the lyrics because, like I said, it's a little bit crazy, but let's break it down. And then in next week's episode, I'm going to give you some more specific examples of how you can actually use some of this vocabulary in your day-to-day conversations in Spanish. Okay, so let's start with the first verse. It starts out saying, Te esperé en las escaleras de tu casa y brillaste por tu ausencia. Te esperé en las escaleras de tu casa y brillaste por tu ausencia. Okay, so let's break that down. So the first part, te esperé, is literally I waited for you. So it's from the verb esperar, which is to wait or to hope for. In this case, in the past tense, that esperé means I waited, and te esperé means I waited for you. Then he says, en las escaleras de tu casa. So that's in the staircase of your house. So in the stairs. So escaleras is stairs. So that already sounds a little creepy. Why are you waiting for me in the stairwell? But okay. And then it says, y brillaste por tu ausencia. So this is one of those phrases in Spanish that you cannot literally translate. If you really were going to say it, it would say like you shone because of your absence, right? Like you were really bright, like brillar, right? To brighten. So really what this is saying is that I noticed you weren't there and your absence was felt, right? Almost like you were glaringly absent. So it's more of like kind of a sarcastic way, but almost like a figurative way to say that you were not present. So brillaste por tu ausencia, really just saying that like I felt your absence, right? It was really clear that you weren't there. And I took notice of that. It was really noticeable to me that you weren't there. So waiting in the staircase. And then it says, me fui sin mi pertenencia. Me fui sin mi pertenencia. So me fui, again, this is the verb irse. It says I left. Okay, so this is conjugated for yo in the past tense. Me fui, I left. Sin means without. Sin mi pertenencia. So that literally means without my belonging, without something that I own, right? But in this case, he's actually referring to the woman as his possession, right? Like his girl, right? But you're mine, and I left without you. And then it says, mañana pienso volver. Mañana pienso volver. Now, mañana, in this case, he's saying tomorrow, and volver is to return. So, and you're probably familiar with pienso, right? It comes from the verb pensar, which normally means to think. However, in this case, because pensar is followed by the infinitive of a verb, so in this case, the verb volver, it actually means I plan to or I intend to, not just I think, right? So it'd be really weird if I said tomorrow I think, I will return. We're saying I'm thinking about it, but really I intend to. I intend to return tomorrow. So I am coming back tomorrow. So mañana pienso volver means tomorrow I plan to return or I intend to return. Then he says, dile a tu secuestrador que se prepare. Dile a tu secuestrador que se prepare. So he's saying, tell your kidnapper, secuestrador, so dile a, so tell him, tu secuestrador que se prepare. So he's saying, tell your kidnapper, the guy that's holding you hostage, to get ready. Okay, so this already sounds weird. He's waiting in the stairwell of her house. She's not there. And he's saying, I'm going to come back tomorrow and tell the guy who is holding you hostage to get ready, to prepare. Okay, we'll see. Again, definitely check out the video for this one. And then it says, aunque tú misma lo ayudes. Aunque tú misma lo ayudes. Okay, so this aunque is even if, and tú misma is like yourself. And then lo is referring to him, ayudes is you help him. So even if you help him yourself, okay, he says, su fechoría no queda impune, amor. Su fechoría no queda impune, amor. Okay, so su fechoría in this case is referring to his misdeed, right? His sort of his sin. His fechoría, so his misdeed, no queda impune. So this again is another phrase. It's saying this will not go unpunished, right? Like this won't be forgiven, right? He's committed a grave error. Okay, so he's really just kind of saying that he did this villainous act or this crime, and so this will not go unpunished. And then it says te tiene de rehén. Te tiene de rehén. Now this te tiene is like he has you. In de rehén is like he has you as a hostage. So that word literally means hostage. So again, he's setting up this whole thing. This is why it's called Stockholm Syndrome. This guy, he must be holding you hostage, right? Because you can't be choosing to be with him and not me, right? Okay, so then we go to the chorus of the song. And in the chorus it says, si le apetece, te hace suya, Estocolmo. Si le apetece, te hace suya, Estocolmo. So in this case, the si le apetece, in this case, it's like if he feels like it. So this verb apetecer, it functions like the verb gustar, right? Which means like to feel like or to crave. So he's really saying like if he feels like it, or if he's really up to this, right? He's really committed to doing this. Te hace suya, so te hace, so makes you, and suya, in this case, that suya is his. So again, we're talking about the female in this case, so that's why it says feminine suya. So that means like his, okay, in this case, but it's suya and not suyo because we're talking about a female. Okay, so te hace suya. So again, this is like implying that he's gonna make you his. So he's basically going to, in this case, probably be in a relationship with you, but he's making it seem like, she's a hostage in this situation. Okay, and then we have this phrase that's repeated a lot in the chorus, Estocolmo. So remember, the actual name of the song, right, which in English is Stockholm, is Estocolmo. So Estocolmo, which is Stockholm, and this is kind of a play on words because it sort of rhymes, es el colmo. Es el colmo. In this case, again, this is an expression that we have to translate. We can't really translate it literally. If you wanted to, colmo is actually like the rim of a cup, or the heap or the top of it where things start to overflow. So that's kind of where it comes from. But the phrase means this is like the last straw. Okay. If he tries to make you his, that is the last straw. Right? So he's not going to take it anymore. And it says, duele menos si estás pensando en mí. Duele menos si estás pensando en mí. So he's saying it hurts less if you're thinking about me. Si padeces síndrome de Estocolmo. Si padeces síndrome de Estocolmo. So in this case, he's saying that if you're suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. So padeces comes from the verb padecer, which means to suffer from. So usually use it if you're talking about like a physical ailment. right? But in this case, because we're talking about the psychological ailment, right? He's saying that you're suffering from, if you're suffering from Stockholm syndrome, because it says, tumbo la puerta, aquí se va a pelear por ti. Tumbo la puerta, aquí se va a pelear por ti. So he's saying, I'm going to knock down the door, basically. So he's in the present tense, I'll knock down the door, but he's really saying what he's going to do, right? When he comes there, he's like, I'm going to knock down the door, and then aquí se va a pelear por ti. So here, we're going to fight for you. So se va a pelear, it's like there's a fight that's going to happen por ti, and we're going to do that for you. And why is there going to be a fight? Because obviously they're trying to save her from Stockholm syndrome, right? And this is, again, if you watch the video, it's Romeo and Prince Royce together, sort of trying to bust this girl out of her, we'll say her kidnapper, right? Her secuestrador, but maybe it's just her boyfriend. Watch the video and you tell me what you think. But he tried to break her out of the house, okay? So then we go to the refrain. It says, que él te vea desnuda, considero ilegal. Que él te vea desnuda, considero ilegal. Okay, so he said, que él te vea desnuda. So, if he sees you, or the fact that he's seeing you naked, desnuda, nude, without your clothes on, I consider that illegal. Considero ilegal. So, that's his, what do you say? He thinks it's illegal. Un extraño goza tu intimidad. Un extraño goza tu intimidad. So here he's saying a stranger, un extraño, goza, which comes from the verb gozar, so goza tu intimidad. So this stranger is enjoying being intimate with you, or your intimacy. Te ha robado un millón de besos. Te ha robado un millón de besos. So te ha robado we're saying he has robbed, or he has stolen, right? He has robbed you. So te ha robado, he's robbed you, he's stolen from you. Un millón de besos. So that's a million kisses. Deberían meterlo preso. Deberían meterlo preso. So this deberían is saying like they should. And then meterlo preso is like they should put him in jail. He should be in prison. Okay? It's illegal if he's intimate with you. He's stolen a million kisses from you, so he should definitely be in jail for that. And then it says, y el delito de quererme borrar. Y el delito de quererme borrar. So this y el delito is and the crime, and de quererme borrar is of wanting me, or wanting to erase me. So that borrar means like to erase. So basically, this guy is trying to get rid of him, right? He's taking her hostage. He's being intimate with her, and he's stolen all these kisses, and it's all a crime. And his ultimate crime is wanting to erase him from her memory, I guess, right? So that is the refrain. And then he says, me trepó en el balcón, me trepó en el balcón. So this trepó is like to climb. I'm climbing. He's climbing onto her balcony. And then it says, vamos, despierta. Vamos, despierta. So come on, wake up. So again, he's on the balcony. He was in the stairwell, she wasn't there. So now he's up on the balcony, probably knocking on the window, like, come on, get up, let's go. And then it says, si se cree un león, si se cree un león. So if he thinks he's a lion, this cree comes from the verb creerse. So it's like what someone thinks they are, right? So creer is to believe, but creerse is a reflexive, so it's meaning I think I am. Okay, se cree mucho would mean like he thinks he's all that. Se cree un león is like he thinks he's brave. Like if he thinks he's going to be a tough guy, right? Ni le temo en su selva. Ni le temo en su selva. He says, ni le temo is like I don't even fear him. Okay? Even in his own jungle, right? So basically he's saying like I'm not afraid of him, even if I'm at his house, right? Because he's calling him a lion. I don't fear him, even though I'm coming onto his property to try to take you away. Entro a la habitación. Entro a la habitación. So I enter the room. Que no juegue al valiente. que no juegue al valiente. So this que no juegue, it's like, I hope that. It's more like espero que no juegue. So I hope that he's not going to play the hero. So juegue al valiente is like, valiente is like to mean you're brave, right? You're a brave person. So he's saying like, I hope he doesn't try to act brave, right? Which is kind of funny because he's in his own house. Y si caigo en prisión. Y si caigo en prisión. So in this case, he's saying if I end up in prison. So there's some indication here. He knows he's trespassing. Okay. He says, y si caigo en prisión. So if I end up in prison, or if I fall into prison, it's literally caer, right? To fall. But this means like if I end up. Si caigo en prisión, somos dos delincuentes. Somos dos delincuentes. So in this case, he's saying like, if I end up in prison, you know, we're both criminals here. We're both guilty, right? We're both guilty of crimes if I'm the one that ends up in prison. Which again, very interesting since it seems like Romeo and Prince Royce are trespassing on this guy's property. But anyway, all right. So that's the chorus. So let's go into verse 2, and then we'll close it out here because then it just repeats sort of the refrain and the chorus again. So in verse 2, and this is when you watch the video, there's sort of like a little interlude here, and then we're kind of going into verse 2. En guerra avisada no muere soldado. En guerra avisada no muere soldado. All right, so in this case, this is again a little bit poetic. Guerra is a war. So avisada is almost like you were forewarned about it. You knew about it in advance. So if there's a war that you already know about, if you already know this battle is coming, it says no muere soldado. So, you know, soldiers is not going to die. So it's basically saying like, if you know what's coming, then you're not going to really be surprised, right? Then it says, esto ya es un compromiso. Esto ya es un compromiso. So like this now, right, is a commitment. Now, like, so he's kind of saying the urgency, like, I am committed to follow through with this. So, yeah, in this case, he's saying like, he's not, yeah, he's going forward with it. Then it says, se aproxima su conflicto. Se aproxima su conflicto. So this is coming from the verb aproximarse. So this is another reflexive verb. In this case, it means like to draw near or to approach. Okay. So in this case, he's saying like this conflict is coming. Then it says, yo no sé lo que esperé. Yo no sé lo que esperé. So he's saying like, I don't know what I waited for. So again, it's like, I waited too long. I waited way too long for this. So he doesn't know what he waited for. And so after this, like again, it sort of repeats again the chorus and the refrain, and the song kind of ends. And the video is, I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it already. Check out our website, learnspanishconsalsa.com/241 for this episode, and you'll be able to watch the video and you'll see what happened. What was the shocking conclusion of this attempt to break this woman out of her Stockholm syndrome? But to me, the great takeaway from this is sort of the play on words, right? Estocolmo, so Stockholm, meaning Stockholm syndrome, was síndrome de Estocolmo. And then es el colmo, so if like had it up to here, es el colmo, like that's it, like we're done. I'm going in, I'm going to go get it, right? So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the song too. It is kind of a fun song. It's a little crazy. A lot of the songs I find in here are a little bit interesting, kind of crazy, funny stories. So definitely check it out. LearnSpanishConsalsa.com/241. And before we go, I do have a trivia question for you. So I'm going to throw this question out here. In next week's episode, I will give the answer. Try not to look it up. If you know, you know, right? Send me a message on Instagram at LearnSpanishConsalsa. You can also leave us a voice note on our website, LearnSpanishConsalsa.com, if you know the answer to this trivia question. And the question is this. ¿Qué vendía Prince Royce antes de ser famoso? ¿Qué vendía Prince Royce antes de ser famoso? Right? So I want you to think about that and let me know if you have the answer. And next week's episode, like I said, I'll give the answer to this trivia question about Prince Royce. As always, I hope that something you've heard in this episode has helped you go one step closer from Spanish beginner to bilingual. Hasta la próxima.
Thank you for listening to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast at learnspanishconsalsa.com.